Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the Ace of Arrows and the Breath of Life. And when this card came up today, I was like, this is a great card to come up after the blasted oak. Because yesterday, when that storm hit, or that situation that knocked you out of the tree, all right, and you broke through all those tethers, all those bindings that you have, you now have a clear mind, right? You still may be in some pain. You still may be, dusting yourself off. But now you see things, again, from that different perspective of what the mirror showed you, right? And you've got this opportunity with this Ace of Arrows, this Breath of Life, to think about something in a new form, right? Think of your communication style and how you want to move forward, okay? Look at the opportunity with that Breath of Life of a new beginning, really. Could be a new beginning in a relationship. Could be that, it could be the new beginning in the same relationship. Like yesterday, maybe you just put your foot down and just said, look, I'm tired of living like this. And, you guys went, maybe you guys went to bed mad, which you shouldn't do. You should always go to bed happy. But at the same time, you wake up the next morning, you have that cup of coffee, and now you're having a discussion. Let's talk about what we were talking about last night without the emotions getting in it. What brought that on? And you let them know, or you let her know, hey, look, this is how I'm feeling. This is what's happening. And, we need to do a better job of communication. We need to do a better job of, thinking things through with our finances. All right. And you can use this conversation, with your significant other, in a family, or even in a work situation. You just look at it and say, you know what? I can see things from a different perspective. All right. I'm feeling content because I've got that Ten of Stones down here, that home card. I've also got the Ten of Bows responsibility. I'm going to be responsible for my actions. All right. I'm going to be responsible for what's happening with my passion. But as we're moving forward, I have some thoughts. Thoughts on how we want to do things differently. Instead of you doing all the cooking and me doing all the cleaning, let's move it around. Maybe I'd do some cooking a couple nights a week and you do the cleaning, right? So you understand, what's going on in the household. Or, hey, I've been doing the bills for so long, and the conversation last night was about our finances. You take a look at it. Let's sit down together and look at the finances and what's going on. So it's that breath of life, that aspect of taking whatever it is you want to a higher level. All right, the smoke is rising, the arrow's pointed in the air. So that's all looking at your spiritual journey. That's all looking at it and saying, you know what, we need to get to a higher level than where we're at. And if those that want to join you on that spiritual journey do so, good for them. And if they don't, guess what? Don't worry about it. Just keep moving forward, all right? Because when you do that, there's some healing stuff going on. Healing within yourself, healing with others, right? Again, you got the hands pointed down here in 2 out of the 3 cards. Actually 3, because the blasted oak, even though you're preparing for the fall, it's hands down. You're becoming more grounded. You're becoming more centered in how you go about your day-to-day spiritual walk. And, when you do that and you can elevate yourself every moment that you have, that just makes, the spiritual walks easier. And, makes the challenges easier, makes the obstacles easier. Allowing Spirit to come in to help you with that, asking them for their assistance, asking the universe to, help you in this relationship or help you in this career, right? You may not understand what it is they're trying to show you, but you have to discern that message. You have to be, a spiritual person that's open to what's going on, opening up your heart, opening up your intuition, opening up your third eye, right? For these new opportunities to help you move forward. So as you continue to move on your spiritual path, walking, right now it seems like we're at this home stage. You know, we're looking out, you know, we're seeing a different perspective. Maybe your parents said something to you that gave you that blasted oak. But at the same time, you may like, all right, I hear what you got to say, Mom and Dad. Honey, I understand what you're trying to tell me, but I've got grander ideas. I'm going to go back out into the world, and I'm going to continue healing others, being creative with my message. And at the same time, I want to be responsible, bringing those burdens, you know, not back home, but along the path. And I've gained a new perspective since I've been home. And I appreciate all the hospitality, and I appreciate the message that you gave me yesterday. But it's time for me to go. It's time for me to continue on my spiritual walk and grow. And when you have that conversation with, you know, those that are in your group, friends, family, whatever, work, colleagues, hopefully they understand. This is about you, all right? Be selfish for yourself, right? Don't always give in to what everybody else wants, like we talked about with that blasted oak yesterday. Your needs are your needs. Their needs are theirs. If the two happen to come together and meet, and you feel like you're being fulfilled, help them out. If not, continue moving forward. Enjoy that breath of life that you have, that freedom from being tethered to the old paradigms and the old constructs. So that's today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck, the Ace of Arrows and the Breath of Life. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share it with others, give me a thumbs up. And this is D for a Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, God bless, stay safe, everybody.